Hello viewers, we're now taking you through the story of O-level mathematics. And this video, we are going to go through the expected response for Senior 2 Math Mod 2 for the year 2024. So this video is suitable for students in Senior 1 up to Senior 4. This is what we hope to upload in this holiday. So today we are going to upload what Epxected means is available on this platform. So today we are uploading S.2. So item 1 says, when S1 learners of Chinyondwa SS were handling the topic of measurement, in physics, their teacher asked one of the learners to measure the height of everyone in the class. The learner used a tape measure and got the following results in centimeters. So those are the results. Then they say task A, as a math learner, make a tally chart for the above information. Then part B, represent the heights of the learners on a bar graph. Part C, using the data, help the teacher to determine the height of learners that appear most. Part D, apart from a tape measure, which other instruments could the learner have used? So shall go step by step. First is to make a tally chart. So these ones are put by me, so just ignore them. They're going to just help me is the work of tallying. But our interest is this table here, where we need the heights, the tally, and the frequency, or what we call the number of learners. So for the tally, we look at the smallest. The smallest is this, and the largest is 145. So we shall write them in ascending order. After that, we shall start tallying. So this is where these buttons will help me. So for 140, we shall come and look for them and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we shall put a tally of 7. Then for 141, let's remove this. Then 141, we shall also count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they are also 7, therefore we shall put a tally of 7. Then for 142, One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we shall put a tally of 5. Then for 143, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we shall put a tally of 14. Then for 144, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you put a total of 6. And lastly, 145, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we shall put a total of 9. So basically that's what they wanted when they said a tally chart. That was part A. Then part B, it said represent the heights of the learners on a bar graph. So we shall come and get our graph paper. So bar graphs are drawn on a graph paper. Then we shall draw the axes horizontal and vertical. Now here for the bar graph, the way we get a scale is somehow different. I think we have been used with the formula that highest value minus lowest value over the number of spaces. But here, bar graph, the horizontal will not have scales, so we shall need just spaces. Therefore, what we do, we shall come and see that for the horizontal scale, we only count the number of items. There were 6, if you look at this. So this is what I mean by items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those are 6 items. Therefore, shall need to know how many big squares will be needed for each item. So we shall use the formula that 18 over the number of items. Now, how did I get 18? 18 means if you count these big squares here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, okay, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I removed 1 to cater for that's why I used 18. So these are 19, but this can be left for this arrow. And this can be left for the writings of the vertical scale. So that's why I used 18. Otherwise, they should be 20. Now, this 3 means each item will take 3 big squares. So I'll come and divide into 3. So take intervals of 3 big squares. This one item, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5, item 6. So how we get a scale for the bar graph is somewhat different from what you have been knowing. Then we shall come and put the items. Now note that the items, previously we would put values on these demarcations, but for bar graphs we don't. We put in the spaces. So note that. Then we write the scale. Scale depends on what is given in the question. Okay. Now for the vertical axis, vertical scale should always begin from 0 here. So the formula also changes a little. Instead of saying highest value minus lowest value over number of spaces, we shall use highest value over number of spaces. So standard graphs, I think you know. Okay, for your graphs, these spaces may be more than 10. But for standard graphs, remember for graphs of unit papers, up here there are some writings. So that's why I used 10, which is minimum. Otherwise, for other graphs, they are 12. But since we are preparing for UNEB, we need to use the standard graph paper for UNEB. So 14 divided by 10 gives you 1.4. Then from there we can get now the scale. Remember the scale says we use multiples of 1, 2, 5, 10, like that. So from 1.4 is beyond 1, so you shall need a scale of 2. Therefore, come on here, write 2, intervals of 2, 2. And label it as number of learners. Now, next is to draw. Now, bar graph have rules. The rule is that, do you see this space here for this item? The whole of it will not be occupied by the item. We shall look for the center, and that's where we shall put the item. Then here there should be a space. So the rule is the space should be divided well, so that all widths for the bars are the same, and 2, all spaces are the same. So I'll come and say, for example, the first one was 775. So I'll come here and say, for the first one it was 7, so I'll put it. Actually, I also need a title. I'll put it there. 7 is here. So I think you can see what I've done. The whole of this was from here to here, but I've made sure that I leave spaces this side. So that is what you should always remember. The next one was also 7. Now shading, here I shaded. It is good to shade, but if you are caught with time, it is okay not to shade. Next was 5. Then next was, let's go back and see. Next was 14, 6, and 9. So I'll come and draw this 14. Then 6. And lastly 9. So basically that's what they wanted by a bar graph. And that's how marks were awarded. So axes, 2 marks title, 1 mark, equal width of bars. So these ones, when I look at these ones, they should have equal width. Then 2, equal spaces between bars. So do you see this from your tier? These spaces should be the same. Now, if you follow the rules here of the getting the scale, the bar graph will come out automatically and as it is needed. Then one mark for these heights. Then part C, let me see part C. Part C, they said, part C says, using the data, help the teacher to determine the height of learners that appears most. Then part D, apart from a tape measure, which other instrument or instruments could the learner have used? So from here, the height which appears most is the highest, which is 14. So there are 14 learners with a height of 143 centimeters. So you come here and say, then another instrument could be a pair of meter rules. So those were the 20 scores for item 1. Now we shall go to item 2. Item 2 says, a father leaves his inheritance to his son. Okay, the inheritance comprises of shillings 250 million and a house located along a straight road, which is given by the equation x, y equal to x, negative x. Okay, the plan of the father's house given on paper is given with coordinates, these ones, A, B, C, and D. The son uses a fifth of the money, note this word, a fifth of the money to buy a plot of land opposite the road with coordinates this. Okay, he uses a tenth of the remaining, note this word, a tenth of the remaining, to construct a house in the plot he bought, such that it is similar to the one given to him by his father, but flipped. Flipped. What does flip mean? Flipping, I think you have seen a plane mirror. In physics, we say the image is laterally inverted. Now, that lateral inversion is flipping. So, know that word, flipping. Flipped on the existing straight road. Okay. He wants to plant flowers on the remaining piece of land around his house. Okay, then they said the task. Part A, how much did the son spend on buying the piece of land? Part B, what are the coordinates of the plan of the house that the son constructed in his land? And part C, calculate the area of the piece of land that he bought and the area of the remaining part that he used for flowers. So when we shall go back, they said, how much did the son spend on buying the piece of land? We shall go back. So questions of new curriculum are more wordy. So here he said something about a fraction. He said a fifth of the money. Which money? This one. So a fifth of that is what will give us the amount he used to buy the land. So you'll come here and say amount spent will be a fifth of 250. Then you multiply to get the amount used, which is 50 million. That was part A. Part B, they said, what are the coordinates of the plan of the house that the son constructed in his land? So first of all, we shall need to know, do you see this? He said here, let me see. Yeah, use that thing to construct a house. Okay, in the plot bought, say that is similar to the one given to him by his father, but flipped on the straight road. So straight road is this. That's why we are going to first get the coordinates. So this is a straight line, so we need a pair of coordinates. So for this line, which is represents the straight road, when x is 0, y is 0. So when you put here 0, you get y is 0, which is 0, 0. Then you put, now these values are not standard that you use 5 or 0. It is due to choose any two points on any two coordinates. So here I chose 0 when x is 0 and when x is 5 to give you 5, negative 5. But you can choose any, it will still work. Now that I've got the coordinates, we can now go and draw our graph. So we need a graph paper. The coordinates had both positive and negative. So we shall draw the axes in such a way that we cater for both positive and negative values. Then we shall start labeling put demarcations for the horizontal or x-axis. Then we shall put the positive values and then the negative values. So we're going to do the same for the vertical axis. Then you label, start with the positive values and then negative values. Now here, some students are funny. Do you know what they do? They put these positive values on the left hand side and these negative values on the right hand side. That rule is not there in math. In math, positive values should be on the right hand side and negative values should be on the left hand side. So don't interchange. Same applies to vertical axis or the y-axis. Positive are up and negatives are down. So always remember that. Okay, then plotting, we saw 0, 0 and 5, negative 5. So 0, 0 is there and 5, negative 5 is there. So I can now draw the straight road. Okay, that's a straight road. Then I was also given the coordinates of the house. These ones. There was A, which is negative 5, 1, B, which is negative 2, 2, negative 2, negative 6, and negative 7, negative 1. So still here, when you're plotting, the first value, the first entry is horizontal. Then the second one is on the y-axis, what we call the vertical. So always remember that. So let's come and plot those ones. So A was that, -5, 1. B was -2, 2. C was -2, -6. And D was -7, -1. Then we can join in order A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to A to get the shape of the house. Then also we are given coordinates of the piece of land bought. So piece of land bought, we are given coordinates P, Q, R, and S with those coordinates. So we need to plot them. We shall come here and plot. We shall plot P, which is -35, Q, 19, R, 91, and S, which is 5, -3. Then we shall also join in the same order P to Q, Q to R, R to S, and S to P. Okay, now next is to draw the piece of land, the shape of the house, which is similar to this but flipped. Flipping means you take this as a plane mirror, like I told you, because for images of the plane mirror are laterally inverted. So here we use the word flipped. So images are same distance from the plane mirror. But the funny thing is that for plane mirror, it is usually horizontal. So when the image is here, you just measure this distance and also measure this other distance. But this line is slanting. What do we do? It is slanting, but the good thing is that it divides the squares into two. Do you see that? This square is divided into two, this one into two, like that. So in short, this angle is 45. So how is it helpful? This is how it's going to be helpful. It means if I want to locate point A on this side and I can't draw a perpendicular, then I can use something else. I can count squares vertically, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now from the object to the plane to the mirror line, let's call it a mirror line. To the mirror line, there are 4 units, but I moved vertical, meaning from here now, I'm going to change and I move horizontal. Have you noted that? There are 2 options. If I move vertically from the object to the mirror line, it means that from the mirror line to the image, I should move horizontal. So this is horizontal 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now I've located my point A prime. Now you see something? I put A prime to distinguish it from this A. If it is A, it is the object. A prime, it is the image of A. Now the question is, what if I first moved horizontal from the object to the mirror? This is what would happen. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now because I moved horizontal, now from the mirror line to the image, I move vertical. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see that we arrive at the same place? So any of the 2 is okay. Let's also locate point image of B. Image of B, they are 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll also move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that will be point image of B. What about image of C? Image of C, now let me move horizontal first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now vertical will also be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is image of C. What about image of D? Image of D, let me move 1, 2, let me first repeat again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Then horizontal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've located all. Next is to join, but joining is also in order. A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to A. So there I've drawn the exact shape but flipped. Exact shape but flipped. Remember that word. Okay, then now I think we have drawn this shape. Let's go to another task. How was the other task? Okay, corners of the plan of the house that the son constructed. That's what we have just done. Then next is calculate the area of the piece of land that he bought and the area of the remaining part that he used for flowers. Now here what we do something funny. Do you know what we do? A standard, an accurate graph paper. Actually, some graph papers are not accurate, but the accurate ones, or the ones for your neighbor, each big square from here to here, it will be 1 centimeter. So what I want you to do, get your graph paper in that graph book and use a ruler, put a ruler here and see, is this from here to here 1 centimeter? If it is true, then the graph paper is a good one. If not, I advise you to buy a new one. Now, why did I bring that? Once we know that from here to here is 1 centimeter, it means that 1 centimeter represents 1 unit on the graph. Okay, how does it help? It is going to help by saying, if I want to get the area of this shape, I don't need to count the squares. It will be tiresome. So what do? What I do, I get my ruler and measure AD. What is the length of AD in centimeters? Then after using centimeters, I remember that 1 centimeter is equivalent to 1 unit. So that concept works. Not my words. That concept works if the scale for the vertical is equal to the scale for the horizontal. I think you see here, that's what we used. For the vertical, 1 centimeter represents 1 unit. Okay. For the horizontal, 1 centimeter represents 1 unit. So that is when that concept will work. So I'm going to get a ruler and measure this distance, measure this distance, measure this distance. Then I remember that this is a trapezium, and I use the formula for a trapezium. Then also I get the ruler and measure this distance and this distance. Then I remember that this is a rectangle, and I use the formula for a rectangle. So let's do that. So first of all, the coordinates of the plan which was asked for are those ones. Let's see the marks for this slide, or the scores. So here, 2 marks were for the axis, uniform scale and labeled. 1 mark for the shape of ABCD. Another mark was for the shape of PQRS. Another mark was for the shape of the newly constructed house. Then the 4 marks were for 1 mark for each, or 1 score for each. Okay, now we are going to get the area. Area, I told you, we have to measure. So I'll get my ruler and measure. So from the graph, we know that is it. 1 centimeter represents 1 unit. So the shape of the plan is a trapezium. Okay. Then A prime, B prime is of length 4.2 centimeters. Use a scale, you get 4.2 units. Then C prime, D prime, length is 7.1 centimeters. Use the scale to get the units. H, A prime, D prime, length is 2.8 centimeters. Use the scale to get the units. Now I can get the area of the trapezium, or the area of the house plan. So the formula for the trapezium, height A plus B. To get that, using a calculator. Note that I'm using square units. I'm not using centimeters. It is true that 1 centimeter represents this, but we are not given the centimeters, so remember to use units. So that is the area of the house plan. Then you also need to get the area of the rectangular piece of land. So the shape is a rectangle, so length is PS, length PS is this, use the scale to get the units. Width is pitch, which is this, use the scale to get the units. Then I can now use the formula, and that's what I wanted. So now that I've got the two areas, I can subtract to get the remaining area which they wanted, and there is it. So that's how we could get a score of 20. So now we shall go to item 3. Item 3 says, Okrut has a piece of land with triangular corners, LMN, and the dimensions are as given. Distance LM is 80 meters. Not the word meters, meaning we need to use some scale, okay? Angle NLM is 45 degrees, okay? Angle LMN is 60 degrees. She has had news about land encroachment spread around her location and wants to fence her land from the land grabbers. She realizes that constructing a perimeter wall for the entire triangular piece of land was more costly, so she opted to at least protect the most valuable resources on her piece of land by constructing a circular perimeter wall of maximum area. Note this word maximum, it means something, such that it just, not the word just touches each of the sides of the triangular piece of land. Okay, the cost of each clay brick is shillings this. She needs 20 trips of lorries, where each trip a lorry can carry is a maximum of 4,000 bricks. Okay. Hint, use a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 10 meters. Okay. Then task. So ideally, this hint shouldn't be given. But for this midterm, we wanted you to have a uniform diagram. Otherwise, it is not given, and it is you to identify the correct scale to use so that it fits on your paper or answer sheet. So item 1 says, construct Okrut's piece of land and the perimeter wall. Okay, item part B or task B, what area of Okrut's piece of land was left unfenced? Part C, determine the cost of all the bricks Okrut will need to construct the circular perimeter wall. So questions of construction, the first thing to do is to draw a sketch. A sketch will need just an outline of the triangular shape. So the triangular shape is that, whereby this is 80 meters, 60 degrees, 45 degrees. So the length given must be on the horizontal. If there is more than one length, then one of them should be horizontal. Then shall need a scale to change so that it can fit, because 80 meters is too big for the graph, for the answer sheet. So shall remember that 1 centimeter is equivalent to 10 meters, meaning that 80 meters is equivalent to 8 over 10, which is 8 centimeters. Now for me, I've used an equivalent sign. You can also use an arrow. It is still okay. So now we can construct that sketch. So if you need to follow step by step, first is to draw a horizontal line and mark off M, the starting point. Then get a compass of radius 8 centimeters and draw that arc. Then you can label it L and 8 centimeters. Then from there, we shall put our compass needle still back at M and draw an arc of any radius. Our aim is to measure angle 60. Then remove the compass, maintain the same radius, put the compass needle there, and draw as an arc so that they intersect. When they intersect, join M to draw a line through M and that intersection. That will be an angle of 60 degrees. Then they also want an angle of 45 degrees at L. So there we shall need to first construct an angle of 90. So put a compass needle there, draw an arc of any radius. Then maintain the same radius, put the arc there, draw that arc, remove the needle, put it there, draw an arc of the same radius. Note that this is a little longer. Why? Because we want to look for 90. So remove the needle there and put it here and draw an arc of the same radius. Then from there you can now join L through the intersection. That is now angle 90. Angle 45 is got by bisecting angle 90. So I'll come, put the needle here and draw an arc of any radius, remove the needle, put it here, maintain the same radius and draw an arc. Then join L, draw a line through L and the intersection so that they intersect at N. So this is our point N, this is our angle 45. So we have drawn the layout of the piece of land. Now next is to construct a perimeter, or construct our circular wall. The circular wall, they said it just touches. 1, they said it is maximum. 2, they said it just touches each of the side. So the language used here is called inscribing a circle into the triangle. So what we are going to inscribe, we need to bisect any two angles. So I'll come put the needle there. I want to bisect angle 60, draw an arc of any radius, which is this. Then remove the needle, maintain the same radius, put the needle there, draw an arc. Then draw a line through M and the intersection. So I'll bisect angle 60. Next, let me also bisect angle 45. Put the needle there, draw an arc of any radius, remove the needle from there, put it here, and draw an arc of the same radius. Then draw a line through L and the intersection. Now this point O becomes the center of the circle we are going to draw. Now I know the center, but I don't know the radius yet. So how do you get the radius to use? The radius is got by dropping a perpendicular from the center to any of the two sides. So to any of the three sides, I can drop a perpendicular here, here, or here, any. But the easiest one is the horizontal one, of course. So I'm going to drop a perpendicular from O to side ML. So put the compass needle there, draw an arc of any radius to cut the side you want to drop perpendicular to. Then put the compass needle there, make an arc of any radius, remove the needle from there, put it here, make an arc of the same radius. Then draw a line through O to the intersection. Then we are going to measure now from here up to here. That will be the radius of the circle we're going to draw. After getting it, you can now put the compass needle there, make it wider so that the pencil tip touches here. Then you can draw your circle. So if you are accurate, it will touch. Actually, it must touch all the three sides. just touch if you are accurate. But of course, we accept human errors somehow. So it may be just close or just cut, but ideally it should just touch. So basically that's what they wanted. So we have constructed. Now let's see part B, task B. Task B says, what is the area of Okrut's piece of land? What area of Okrut's piece of land was left unfenced? Left unfenced means we need to get the area of the triangle and also area of the triangle, which is the piece of land, and area which was fenced. When we subtract them, we shall get the area of the area which was left unfenced. Now, to get the area of the triangle, we need to drop a perpendicular, because area of a triangle is a half base times height. But we don't know the height yet. So I'll come here and draw a perpendicular through n. So draw an arc of n radius, then remove the needle from there, put it here, draw an arc. Now, how do you determine the radius? That arc should draw, this arc here must be bigger than half of this distance. Simple as that. So maintain the same radius, put the compass needle here and draw an arc, then you join n, draw a line through n to the intersection of the arcs. Now the distance from here up to here becomes our height. So I'll come, so that will be the awarding of the marks for this construction. So line LM, measuring it, and it's 8 centimeters, that is a mark. Angle 60 constructed, 1 mark. Angle 45 constructed, 1 score. Any two angle bisectors, those are two scores. Dropping perpendicular to get radius, then also circle, then dropping perpendicular to get the height. Now that we know we have got the height, we can now get the areas. We know the height and the radius. So radius is that. We remember to convert back to meters. And we use the rule that from small to big, you multiply. It is somehow alters what we know in physics conversion. Think in physics, S.1 we learned about conversion from one unit to another. Now here in scales, from small to big, you multiply. And from big to small, you divide. Now here I was changing from centimeters to meters, so I multiply. So it's somehow different from what we already know, but we need to also adapt that. Then the height is this, which is 51 meters. Then now I can get the area of the triangle and also area of the circle, and then subtract the 2 to get the area left unfenced. And basically that's what they wanted in task C. In task B, what about task C? Task C, let me see what they wanted. Determine the cost of all the bricks Okrut will need to construct the circular perimeter wall. Remember, there were 20 trips and each trip had 4,000 bricks and each brick costed shillings 300. So I'll come here and say that total number of bricks is 20 times 4,000 to give you 80,000 bricks. Then the cost will now be 80,000 bricks times the cost for each brick to give you 24 million. And that's what they wanted. Total score of 20. So that brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching and Be reminded that the next video will be on Senior 3 Mod 2 for the year 2024. So if you have not yet subscribed, please click on the subscribe button below this video so that you receive updates when the next video has been uploaded. And also, if you know of any student who's not yet on this platform, please share the link of this video with them via social media platforms like Facebook and WhatsApp, such that we can all benefit as a family.